Welcome, everyone. I am Michelle Schumann, the Artistic Director of the Austin Chamber Music Center. I'm so happy to have Grgic here with me. He will be performing together with Martin Chalefour on July 7th. This is a collaboration with the Austin Classical Guitar Society. And of course, Mak, you've performed in Austin several times. I know audiences absolutely love you. You are known for your super virtuosity and your extremely expressive playing, and Austin audiences love you. It's interesting because we don't often associate guitar as the quintessential chamber music instrument. So let's talk about that a bit in terms of like how why your duo is very special.
Sadly, so I agree. We guitarists, our bunch, we are hermits. We enjoy our solitude and the slow pace of learning music. Note by note, hour by hour. Chamber music, however, is something that I think every classical guitarist should think of in terms of enriching one's perspective on just musical expressivity and in general. We tend to not do that very often, or if we do that, then we sort of try to remain within our midst. So there's something like a guitar duo, guitar quartet. Those ensembles are actually relatively popular. And then the last, I guess, decade or so has seen a growing number of guitar orchestras throughout. Europe has an immense number of them. In America, especially if states like Nevada, cultivate guitar orchestra culture from very early on. In fact, I even run a little non-profit kids guitar ensemble in Santa Monica. Just 10-year-olds. Nice. They just literally start playing, but we immediately put them in a guitar ensemble setting. It's not an individual one-on-one scenario. It's from zero to ensemble from the get-go. So we try to cultivate that sort of joint musicianship. But playing with other instruments, singers also of any kind, is a powerful tool of musical growth, I would say. I personally have enjoyed doing so for as long as I remember, and playing with someone like Martin is just it's like a culmination of that type of an ensemble. We all know him as the preeminent concert maestro of the Los Angeles Philharmonic Orchestra. So it's a big honor to be able to do that and to cultivate different programs throughout the years, not just have these sort of one-offs. But it seems like he enjoys it as much as I do.
Yeah, well, and let's talk about the repertoire, because there is quite a bit of repertoire that was written for violin and guitar, or even flute and guitar, that works very well. But you've also done some transcriptions for this program, too.
Correct. So transcriptions and arranging in general is something that both of us enjoy. I think, and this is just a speculation, I don't know, but I think from Martin's end is the fact that, the schedule as a concert maestro of such a big, important orchestra has certain limitations to personal creativity. So you're given a program, you play the program, and you do that day by day by day by day, right? Yeah. So then when you do play your own program and you do create your own repertoire, you at least from my point of view, it's sort of a fulfilling scenario, right? I mean, here's an opportunity to express oneself in a best possible own manner, right? So first time that we pulled together sort of an evening's worth of program, we fooled around with the first Bach's violin sonata and sort of pulled from different sources. The first two movements were sort of jointly rearranged by combining the original score with some of our own sort of general bass realizations with Bach's own organ rendition of the first two movements, and then the last two movements, the third and the fourth, we completely sort of realized on our own and made it a duo, made it sort of a conversation.
Wonderful.
And it provided for a very fun fugue and a very fun presto, you know, so not just one was shredding, but we were sort of exchanging passages, you know.
Yeah.
And I think people got off of that quite a bit, and it was very, very fun.
Yeah.
But in general, yes, I mean, there was, and there is an ample amount of repertoire written for this type of ensemble. I mean, gosh, one of the pieces that we're going to do, the Paganini E minor sonata, is is one of the quintessential works that Paganini himself wrote for the combo of him playing on the violin and his and at least one of his dual partners, one of which was was a famous guitar virtuoso of the day, Mauro Giuliani, who was sort of this Italian Viennese guitarist who also wrote his own music, who sort of imbued this virtuosic salon type of playing, and was just this all-around respected musician. But the two of them had duos, and they wrote works for each other. And then there's famous stories, you know, for when because a guitar is in this case, of course, in an accompanimental role. So Paganini there would write lengthy solo virtuosic passages for himself, but just give the guitarist just just sort of like
right.
type
Yes, I've played Paganini pieces on the piano before with violinists, so I know exactly.
There you go. So then they would sort of challenge each other and write pieces in so much that they would create stronger parts for one another, and then even in so much they would sometimes exchange instruments too. So Paganini would play papa, and the other one would play the solo instrument. Just sort of as a and I find that story anecdote particularly interesting because it's a clear showcase of how flexible musicians were, you know.
Sure.
Nowadays we're just sort of like this, you know. This is us, you know. This is classical music, and as much as this cultivates excellence, you know,
sure.
if you're like this, you know, you really excel at your instrument. But there was certain type of flexibility a long time ago that is very attractive to me, and hence my desire also to do chamber music. But in terms of other repertoire, I mean, yes, I mean, we're doing transcriptions of Rachmaninoff, Villalobos, what else do we have?
Bartók,
of course.
And,
Bartók, even Romanian dances, so that's going to be
beautiful.
super fun.
Yeah.
I might have forgotten something, but it's pretty sort of wide array of works. There's a Vivaldi that I'll have to involve my early music skills from when I studied lute in Vienna, you know, some bass realizations and all that. I'm gonna have to accompany Martin. So yeah, all in all, I'm very much looking forward. It's a very, very colorful program.
Yeah. Do you find, because you are an esteemed soloist, do you find that you play different when you play chamber music, or is it, what kind of a different aesthetic do you bring to it? I'm a pianist, and I feel like I am a different player when I play solo versus chamber music, and I actually prefer playing chamber music because of that feeling of the imaginative sounds that can come out of playing with other people.
Yeah.
And do you have that sense at all?
Well, it tends to differ in a sense that there's more communication back and forth going on stage, of course off stage too, but when you practice. But it's a sort of a reinformed performance. It's not just one person presenting an idea.
Right.
It's an agreement of ideas, and sometimes if musicians are flexible enough, sometimes it's a very spontaneous exchange of ideas. And it seems like the way our duo works is there is a bit of both. I think we both enjoy that type of freedom, not being in Martin's case, maybe not being conducted
Sure.
into doing something, and in my case, being sort of responsive to this, extreme expressive phrasing of this, this big maestro there standing next to me. So it's an energetic pleasure. When I play solo, I willingly or unwillingly, I do try to be, to a certain extent, spontaneous, and whatever I have learned throughout, playing with different instruments and accompanying a lot of singers. I've accompanied a lot of singers in my day, making me really sort of aware of what it means to breathe,
Yes.
So I do try to imbue that a little bit in the playing too. I mean, I'm not by no standards do I try to be rigid with music. Of course, as excellent as I can be on, technically speaking, of course. I mean, it's just a striving, but then I do like a certain type of edge in a performance, and also responding to the audience. The way the audience breathes, where they travel with their sort of attention spans and all that. I do enjoy that type of thinking, creative thinking.
I don't think the audience even knows what an impact they have on performers. I don't think that they're completely aware of that, and it really is a fascination.
Oh, absolutely. There's quite a few famous anecdotes by famous musicians. I mean, of course, I know more from the guitar end of things, but sometimes it can be treachery. It's like the the performer feels a certain feel from the audience, which may not be correct.
Right.
Namely, let's say you're an American musician, right, traveling to Japan, okay, and you're absolutely not aware of the culture that the audience presents there. It's a very sort of very stately, very quiet, very attentive, respectful. China, completely different story. It's like it's a lot of sounds, a lot of noise, a lot of photo making, a lot of video taking, a lot of going in and out of the hall, eating, drinking food, but still it's their own way of showing appreciation. But what tends to happen, and I think here's where one can delineate professional demeanor on stage is, does one get in so much affected by that, by sort of that shock or surprise that there's a feel in the audience that one doesn't expect, to an extent where, then your sort of assumed interpretation of a work that you've worked on then just goes away, or goes way too far astray, right? So it's if you're a professional, one should still have a certain sense of what is doing, alongside being a performing artist and, let's say, entertainer to a certain extent.
Yeah, absolutely.
So those are just some observations. I mean, I've started to travel to Asia at a certain extent these past 2-3 years, and I've seen. I mean, completely different cultures, and it took me some time to get used to the fact that their attentiveness is showcased differently. Much as Europeans, for instance, in Vienna and UK and all these are very quiet, very sort of, and one thinks it's they're always sort of mad at you, but it's not really. It's just a type of culture,
Yeah. Well,
so anyways.
Yeah, and actually, it's something that I love about Austin audiences is that they have a really good combination of understanding concert etiquette and enjoying it, knowing how to enjoy a concert, knowing how to listen and have that space, but also being just exuberant about the whole process. And they're really good audiences to talk to and to communicate with too.
I've always enjoyed visiting Austin. It's like a sort of a oasis of informed culture. It's and everyone is super happy and aware of that. It's great. It's absolutely great. Yes, I agree.
Yeah. Well, we cannot wait to have your duo. How was your duo actually? How did you start?
So we started. Gosh, that might be 4 or 5 years ago, I was holding a residentship at a local chamber music society here in Los Angeles, the Camera Society.
Yeah.
And Martin was a regular guest at just for regular concerts. It's sort of a small but wealthy music society. Not big concerts, but just on a high level.
Yeah.
So, anyways, we got paired through that, and Martin tested me out a little bit. He said, "Okay, learn this. I learned this, and then I came and we jammed together a little bit, and then it definitely felt like an exam, like I was being served. Okay, and then he seemed to have enjoyed it, and I certainly did. So that was the first time when we started to think about some type of programming, and then it sort of grew into a little more than that. He is a busy man, however, so it's like it's hard to have a sort of a steady schedule going, but that's understandable. I mean, being at that position is something worth a lot of respect, but also demands understanding in terms of time consumption.
Well, speaking of which, we are just thrilled to have you this summer. That's a real coup for us to be able to kind of drag him away and bring you along and have that grouping together. I think it's going to be a stunning concert.
It's gonna be fabulous. I'm sure. Yeah. Yes.
Oh, that's
definitely
amazing.
a lot of fun. Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to chat with us. We'll have everyone listen to you and get to know you before you come to Austin, and we'll be old friends.
Fantastic. Austin, see you very soon.
See you very soon. Bye-bye. Take care.
Bye-bye. Bye, Michelle. Bye.
Bye-bye.